How I take better photos. I want to start here, right? There are some baseline things across all genres of photography that will allow you to take better photos. And these are the things that push me as a photographer, and it will push you too, basically. Here are my 5 principles to improve your photography. We're gonna go through all top 5, and then we're gonna get more specific. So number 1, look for emotion. That's across all photography. Look for emotion in not just people, but in your composition, in the feeling, the lighting. Number 2, put your camera where your eyes are not. Often we're just here, right? We're just taking photos, right? Why not find a different perspective? Put it on the floor, put it on the sky, bend down, turn it. We're so used to looking right here while we're walking around. It should be something different, something creative, something that says something that's not normal to our normal eye. Number 3, push your exposure. I don't normally say this in introduction to photography, but you can lose the darks and the blacks and the shadows. You can overexpose the highlights and the whites because you're trying to be creative. Now that you understand exposure, now that you know how to expose properly an image, push it, make it wild, make it interesting, make it have emotion. Number 4, be patient. And I think this is something I've struggled with forever across all forms of art, but being patient is really key. And that means being patient with your skill level, with practice, with waiting to buy equipment, with waiting for the sun to change, with waiting for a person to change emotions, with waiting for an animal. There's literally infinite things to be patient about in photography. And we'll go more into that in this section and the rest of them. And number 5, fail. Again, you're not seeing all my worst photos, and you're gonna take a lot of bad photos to get the really, really good ones. And in fact, when I deliver to clients, I'd say on an average wedding, I'm probably taking close to 5,000 photos, and they're only seeing 250. That's 4,600 or 700 and something, I can't do math, photos that no one will ever see, and they're bad, and I'm failing at. And that's okay, because you have to understand what is bad, what is not good, in order to have the good come out. It is night and day. There's no light without dark. It's yin and yang. It's contrast. It's everything. So I think you need to fail. All right, so let's go deeper. Number 1, look for emotion. I look for emotion in my photos because that is what's going to evoke something in the viewer. That's what's going to inspire. That's what's going to make something look and feel like a really good photo. So these 3 photos I have as a really good example for emotion, because you want to see and connect with what's going on. The photo on the left, we have a doctor. I made her laugh. You can really see her personality here, right? You feel the emotion of someone laughing, and I love that. The second photo is a man jumping off this barge in a very quick moment of street photography, and you feel the anticipation of the cold water, right? That's the emotion there. He's just static. The third one, we see a very cool quinceañera girl in front of her name all lit up. She's got some attitude. There is a lot of emotive, attitude in it. And that also is a vibe, right? Look for these little moments that have pure emotion in them that you can inspire your viewer to see. Pay attention to that. Number 2, right? Put your camera where your eyes are not. These 3 specifically are on the ground, on the floor, right? The pet, the dog, get on their level, get where their eyes are. What are the perspectives of animals? We don't get to see that often. This is gonna push your photography from just walking around and being right here, right? Move around, get on your knees, put your hand up over a crowd, Here's a manhole down in New York. Get really low. You see the perspective from, again, the road. I have this in my photography a lot where I'm shooting down roads quite a bit. In fact, this one down in Monument Valley on the right is me on my knees looking down at the road because I want to see the perspective of the road going into the hills and have the horizon at the center. If I was just standing up here, the road would be very low and it would be kind of not as interesting because we're just here, looking, versus being there, getting down, feeling the texture of the road creates this sort of you're there, you're in the middle of this place and it's new and it's different. Number 3, remember, push your exposure. These are some examples of me pushing my exposure. The one on the left and the right is letting the shadows fall into the shadows. Let them go. I know we say that we want a full exposure, but this is when you can get really, really creative with the light. Look at the emotion that we are creating by letting the exposure be really dark, right? The photo on the left, it's falling off. You don't even see the edge of his back, but we get this vibe of this like strong, boxer. On the right, we don't see the man's face at all. We just see this light coming over top, and I let it be dark. I let the exposure just fall off into the darkness. In the middle, the other way, right? I overexpose the veil. There's just whiteness around. We don't see anything, but that's not what matters. What matters is the kiss, the couple. We're inside this veil. So I let the exposure go. If I didn't let it go and there's more detail in the veil, we may not see their faces as clearly, and it wouldn't be this bright, fun, sunny spot. Our eyes wouldn't get focused right in on the couple. So in all these images, there is a ton of exposure difference. We're not in the middle of your light meter. We're going left and we're going right. And then I take that and I push it even more in post editing. So you can see even in the star photo, we're going to get to astrophotography, but this image I've brought up quite a bit in post. But when I shot it, it was pretty dark. So we'll see the difference in letting your exposure go in when you take it and when you do it in editing. Number 4, be patient. I brought these 2 photos up specifically because concert and music photography requires a ton of patience, but also requires a ton of like being in a hurry. You have to hurry up and wait for that moment that you feel will get your emotion exposed right, have your camera in the right place that's not your eyes, and nail it, right? This photo on the left, this guy is playing a giant stadium in Indianapolis. And I'm in the pit, so I'm like not in the crowd, but I was looking and I was shooting, and he finally saw me and he had a break in his play. I mean, he's playing to 30,000 people, and he's able to take a moment and like throw up a let's rock sign. And I was there ready to snap. But I was patient. I waited and I held and I held and I held for something cool to kind of happen. And again, over here on the right, music's the same way, right? I was just waiting for her to have a little bit more emotion. And I caught this moment where she's kind of thinking to herself and being in her own sort of world. And I felt like that carried some emotion. The big thing is I'm being patient, right? And we'll go into specifics in being patient. I think I bring it up in a lot of other specific genres of photography. Fail. While these 4 photos are actually pretty fun looking, they are failures. You can see the one on the far left with the animal is me out of focus. It's on film. It doesn't really have any emotion. There's nothing to it. There's a headshot of my buddy here, Matt, way underexposed. I couldn't even bring that back and make it look good. There's a couple down in the bottom right where I missed focus on them and I focused on the background. There's another film photo where there's just a gnarly flare coming across. You can't even see her face. It would have been a really great photo if that flare wasn't there, and I can't get rid of it. I make mistakes all the time. All 4 of these photos that you're looking at, I've taken since this recording in the last year. I've been doing photography for 15 plus years, close to 20 years at this point, and I am still taking bad photos every once in a while. That's just going to happen, and you have to let yourself be okay with that. I think the more you take bad photos or you mess up, the better idea you'll have of what is a good photo and how you can get there on your own. So be patient with yourself. Be okay failing and taking bad photos. You can always take more.